What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another Kingdom video. That is right, people. Sorry, King Recon, it just doesn't get it all. You really should trademark that shit, man. Just trademark that. I mean, seriously, dude. Fucking awesome. But yeah, guys, we are back for another Kingdom Coalition Arc review. This is part 3 of my Coalition Arc series. I'm reviewing all the arcs of Kingdom. I have already reviewed the first and second part of the Coalition Arc. You can find that down in the description down below for my full playlist of Kingdom videos, including those videos. So, yeah. This is my part 3 video of the Coalition Arc review, so let's actually get this started. So where we left off in my part 2 review of the Coalition Arc, pretty much it was just all set up. The setup for the war to finally take place. Now this is where we begin to see the battle go into fruition, how it eventually starts, and we have it to where Dukyo and the Hishin unit end up charging out to the Zhao that is right in front of them, and they completely crash into one another. Like, holy shit, man. Yo, oh man, the battles in the Coalition Arc are just so fucking hype, and we'll get to those battles later on, but Dukyo, being a completely savage person, just wiping the floor with these individuals, and you have the Hishin unit actually making their way up a mountain pass as Dukyo is taking care, Dukyo's unit is taking care of the Zhao units because he wants Shin to try to flank them. And you have 10 in the background of the Hishin unit just scouting everything that is going down, trying to gather support and strategical analysis as to what Hishin can do for the Dukyo. And as they are making their way up the mountain pass, they see the Chu army making its way to the fight. So now there is going to be 2 armies fighting it off between Dukyo and the Hishin units, which is not good at all. Now, meanwhile, as this fight is going on, apparently the nearby towns are actually getting word of the Coalition Arc actually taking place in the state of Qin. And Kyokai actually makes an appearance in this arc, hearing the Coalition actually starting from nearby townspeople in the vicinity. And my immediate reaction as to how I saw this was that Kyokai was actually going to make an appearance in the Coalition Arc, and I mean, well, she did, obviously, but I mean as to helping the Hishin unit and helping others fight in the war. Like, she completely, you know, backtracks back to the Hishin unit. However, she can't really, because she is still, you know, searching for, you know, revenge. The revenge that she wants. Before she ends up, you know, moving forward, she has to take care of the current situation that she is already in before she can even go back to Shin. So I like that bit of the panel with Kyokai right there, because it just shows you that, you know, she is still trying to move on forward. Even though she considers the Hishin unit as her family, she can't go back to them until she ends up conquering her troubles. And I really like that. I really do. Now, back at the Zhao HQ, where Riboku and Sun Shin-kun, I believe the guy's name was, they are actually discussing the battle plans that are actually going about in the war. And Sun Shin-kun actually has, you know, while he thinks that they have an advantage as to, you know, how many armies that are taking place in the war right now, he still thinks that Dukyo poses a very big threat to the war, and doesn't really know how, you know, the Dukyo is actually going to be tamed. But Riboku states that he has a lot of faith into this individual called Kisho, I believe the name was. He is a general. Apparently he is, or sorry, his name was Kisha, and Kisha is this sort of general that is very high regarded by Riboku, as Riboku states that due to his strategical way of thinking, he can tame a wild beast just like Dukyo. And I was like, yo, tame a wild beast like Dukyo? Okay, well, we'll see how this goes. So once Kisha makes his way to the battlefield, Dukyo definitely has a bad feeling. But he takes the risk and freaking tries to go on ahead and make, you know, a good sort of indent on the army. And while this is going on, the Hishin unit actually makes its way down the mountain pass to cover Dukyo's ass by hitting the enemy by, you know, its flank, completely, you know, going out of nowhere. And if the Hishin unit did not do this, Dukyo's unit probably would have, you know, would actually been, you know, completely decimated. Not completely decimated, but they would lose a lot of, you know, good numbers, and Dukyo would be at a disadvantage. So instead of being at a disadvantage, the Hishin unit posed a very good, you know, strategical plan as to throw off Kisha's plan. Now, before actually this goes on, there is this sort of formation that Kisha does, which is so cool, I thought, because the type of tactics that are involved in this arc is just insane. Like, I love the tactics that were involved in this arc. And due to this formation, it leaves Dukyo completely exhausted and actually has his troops backing out. So that is when the Hishin unit makes its way into Dukyo's troops to help him by hitting the enemy's flank. And if it were not for Shin, again, Dukyo's unit would have, you know, just been completely decimated or, you know, severe losses in the group. And this is when we also see Shin actually command over probably 10,000 troops within Dukyo's army, as he tells the soldiers that they need to just, you know, try to remain confident. They need to go back and to, you know, attack this opponent. Do not falter, you know, raising their morale. And Dukyo actually acknowledges Shin as a very instinctual type of general, just like Dukyo himself. So while there are different types of generals, like the strategical generals or the what-have-you generals, he poses Shin as a instinctual type of general just due to how he handles certain situations as to how he sees fit, whether they be good or rather they be bad, when he needs to back out and when he needs to move forward.
Now this is where things start to get really interesting, because we then transition over to Kankaku Pass, this big wall in which the other armies are trying to hold their defenses, while they are versing the Wei army. Now, the Wei army is trying to reach Kankaku Pass by putting up these huge ladders, and they are still being taken down by, you know, the Shin soldiers. The Shin soldiers are, or the archers, I should say, are just completely taking these things down, and also the soldiers themselves with these fire arrows. But then, we have the Wei soldiers bring out a siege tower, this big siege tower that ends up reaching Kankaku Pass. And it doesn't really seem to actually, you know, have the height of the pass in general. So it doesn't even match, you know, the height of Kankaku Pass. It can't reach the top. The ladders can't reach the top, but the siege tower can't reach the top as well. However, the Shin end up trying to burn this siege tower with fire arrows. Burn the wood and then it will fall. However, it was doused in water to begin with, which makes it harder for the fire to actually burn into the wood. So the Shin are like, wait, if they brought out this siege tower, you know, and it doesn't reach the pass, it's made of water, what is their true intention of bringing this thing out to begin with? And then, you know, the Wei army ends up sending out these counterweights that the siege tower was keeping a hold of, and it places this huge ladder as well, like the ladders they were using beforehand. And now the ladder, supported by the siege tower, is now able to reach the top of Kongoku Pass, and soldiers are actually making their way up there. I was like, yo, these guys know what's up. They know what's up. The Wei Army has, very good ways as to how, they, need to react in order in certain situations. I was very surprised on that. I really thought that they, like, as in my live reaction, I thought once they brought out the counterweights, because, they were, like, huge boulders, I thought they came up with this sort of contraption into which they were going to fling on top of the pass, or, just try to decimate the pass in general. But instead, the counterweights ended up putting up this huge ladder in which the soldiers could make their way up to the tower. And that made a lot more sense to me. I was like, oh, okay, I get what's going on. And then they bring out a second siege tower. But hey, this is where things get fucking hype. Konki, yo, my boy, Konki, the savage, yo. The siege tower is making its way to Konki's HQ. And Konki comes up with this, grand idea into which, okay, the siege tower is doused with water. As we know, water and oil do not mix very well, okay? So he has these barrels of oil just thrown at the siege tower. He tells his soldiers to throw these barrels of oil onto the siege tower, and then they ignite it with fire arrows, completely decimating the siege tower. Yo, Konki, Konki, he has to be an instinctual type as well. Like, I really do think he's an instinctual type. Instead of being more so strategical, he is definitely more instinctual as to how he handles certain situations. So I would even say that Konki has to be an instinctual type of general as well. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Now, immediately after this, a couple chapters ahead, we actually see that we get a flashback in which Moten ends up going up to his father, Mobu. Now, Mobu is not fighting, which is very strange. And that's what Moten ends up telling his father, like, why aren't you fighting? Why aren't you fighting, Mobu? And he does not fear. He does not fear the whole coalition arc. He knows that, his army, as well as the others, will end up coming on top. And the reason why Mobu is not fighting at this given moment in time is because he is waiting for the Toe army to try to take out a Chu general known as Rinbu Khan. Only then will Mobu actually go into battle. And Moten is like, okay, I get it. So once this general is taken out, you will then make an appearance, make your flank around the Chu army, and try to help out. Because if you do not take out Rinbu Khan, then, you will not be putting the enemy into a disadvantage. Mobu is using the element of surprise here, So Moten completely agrees to this, and he is like, I wish you the best, father. And I was like, yo. Like, I don't like Mobu, but at the same time, I like his character. Like, it's like a love and hate relationship with Mobu, at least from what I have seen in Kingdom so far. And the main reason is that he doesn't really show his emotions very much. It's not like he worries about his son end up dying in the battle either. And we'll probably get to that later. But, like, I don't know. It's very hard to read Mobu. He's a very emotionless character, I would say. He doesn't show his emotions too much, and it almost seems like he has no personality to begin with. He's just kind of very monotone and just very cold. Very cold, I will say that. But I'm sure that later down the line we will learn more about Mobu's character. But, I really do hope, he gets better from here on out, because as I know him, as he is just very, very, cold, especially when it seems like he's not caring about his own son. But again, I guess he puts on this sort of facade while he really does care about his father and even his son. You know, I'm guessing he just puts on this facade in order to, you know, not worry his son or his father or maybe even his commanding troops, because the moment he does that is when it almost seems like he doesn't have his soldiers aligned or even worries, you know, his father or his son. So I'm pretty sure this is some sort of facade that Mobu ends up bringing on to others in order to, you know, pose as a very prideful man. Now, there is actually this one scene in the manga that's probably going to be the last topic that we discuss for this video on the Coalition arc, and that is when we see Moten make an appearance. And he tries to take out this one individual called Hakurei. And as he is about to deliver the finishing strike on Hakurei, we see that Koyoku actually ends up making an appearance yet again in the Coalition arc, and he was brought into the first army of Chu, I believe, and completely starts to duel, you know, Moten, trying to throw him off guard. But, yo, Moten almost came very, very close to end up getting killed by Koyoku. Very, very close. And then Ohan makes an appearance at the scene, which is freaking awesome. I gotta say that. And then Koyoku actually brings out this sword called the Byaku sword, I think that was called. And there was this one scene in the Coalition arc which I thought was very, very cool. Very, very hype. But this is probably going to be the last topic that we discuss in this video. But anyway, there is one of the 10 bows of China. I really forgot his name, so, I mean, you can correct me on that if you do so wish. But there is one of the 10 bows of China that makes an appearance. And there are these generals that actually make their way. And what ends up happening is that these two generals make their way on over to take out this other general in the Chu army. I forget their names, so correct me on that, but I believe the Chu army's general was Rokumi, but you can correct me on that in the comments down below if you do so wish. And as these two generals are trying to take out this Chu general, we have it to where one of them declares that I will be the one to take this general out, and then he's like, don't be silly. The other general takes a step forward and says, it's better to have two generals take out one, you know, general. Let's just get this over with. And immediately after this guy says this, one of the 10 bows of China freaking just draws an arrow and shoots this guy straight in the head to a distance. Yo, dude, I was like, what the fuck? Straight to the fucking face. And as he is drawing his next arrow in order to take out the other general that is trying to kill off one of Chu's generals, it ends up piercing his armor. Almost kills him in an instant. And then that's when Moten is like, yeah, I think I better take out this 10 bow of China before things get really, really bad. And as Moten is actually making his way to one of the 10 bows of China, he jumps off his horse and tries to slay this dude. And the archer, the archer even says in the manga panel, he's like, oh, fuck. And immediately after, you know, he says this, Koyoku makes an appearance and then ends up blocking Moten's sword. And then this is where we see a little battle take place between the two, but Moten almost got killed. Moten almost got killed. Like, I was, yo, the kingdom greatness, like, it always gets your heart pounding. The adrenaline that this series delivers, how close certain characters end up dying, and you're just like, oh fuck no, you know, you're just rooting for these characters, and you sometimes even root for the enemies as well, because the different perspectives of, you know, the various states of, you know, the armies, you're like, yo, I really want to see what these guys are going to, you know, come up with next. What are the tactics going to be used? What are the strategies that are going to be used? I really want to see it, but at the same time, you really hope that your favorite characters don't end up dying. But it's really cool to see the other characters in the various other states end up, you know, playing out in the wars against the state that, you know, you root for. And then I believe that as they are fighting, the Ohan army ends up appearing, and this is where we also see Koyoku actually has a duel with Osen as well. And we will leave off on that note, and we will go over the next fellow events that are sprung about in the Coalition arc. But we're going to end it off right here because this video is probably as long as it is already. But yo, we are finally getting into the action of this arc, and the action definitely does deliver in the Kingdom series. It definitely does. And this is definitely one of the best arcs in the Kingdom series. By far. By far. And I know why so many people ended up, you know, wanting me to do a live reaction to the whole entire arc and just, you know, give my overall thoughts, which is the reason why I am doing these reviews in the first place. And man, dude, seeing the first half of the battle actually take place was very, very hype. Very hype. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below as to what you thought about this review. Did I hit it on the nail on the head? I mean, hopefully I got most of these events right for this part of the Coalition arc. But if there is something that you thought I should have mentioned, just let me know down in the comments down below, and maybe I will try to include that in the next review. But hopefully this review was concrete. Hopefully it was good enough for you guys out there. So if you did enjoy this, be sure to give this video a like. And if you want to stay updated to my future content, if there are new viewers on my channel watching this video, then definitely hit that red subscribe button down below if you want to see some more Kingdom videos from me, as well as any other anime or manga related reviews or content in general on this channel. With that said, guys, thank you all for watching. I will catch you all in the next one.